We just spent 4 days exploring, hiking, and relaxing in the Cameron Highlands, as well as countless hours planning the trip. We're now providing you with
everything
we've learned, including how do you get there, the history, the language, can you drink the water, how long should you stay, which nature trails to take,
nature is amazing,
and so much more. I'm not saying we know the Highlands better than the locals, but we just know more than most tourists, probably. This is the Cameron Highlands City Guide. Let's go. Now let's dive into the essential things you'll want to know before visiting. The Highlands are basically a combination of 3 different cities, all connected by one main road, Jalan Besar.
I knew that.
We actually walked the road between the Bo tea plantation and Tanah Rata that passes through Brinchang to see as much local life as possible, which was about 7.5 miles on the road, and we would 100% not recommend it. It was first discovered in 1885 by the British and started development in the roaring 1920s. The region's cool climate and fertile hills make for excellent farming conditions. Vegetables, strawberries, and teas are the most commonly grown here. Today, tourists visit the area for the cool climate, nature trails, and of course the tea plantations. The temperatures in the Highlands are so much cooler and less humid than most other parts in Malaysia, which makes it for perfect conditions for growing a large variety of fruits and tea plants. The currency used in Malaysia is the ringgit. You can find plenty of ATMs to withdraw in the largest city, Tanah Rata. Cash or credit card. Most restaurants and businesses will accept credit cards unless you are visiting a fresh food stall or market. The top 2 attractions in the Highland are hiking and the tea plantations. Stay tuned for more on this later in the video. Can you drink the water? Based on our research, it is not advisable to drink the tap water in the Highlands since it contains sediments.
Nature is amazing.
Can you drink alcohol in public? You can drink alcohol on the street since there's technically no law against it, but you may get some weird looks from the locals. The power outlet used in Malaysia is a Type G power socket. How long should you stay? This heavily depends on the reason you're visiting. If you're just interested in visiting the Highlands to escape the hot temperatures and visit a few plantations, we'd recommend you stay around 3 days. If by chance you're into hiking on the trails or backpacking, you could easily stay a week here. What are the prices like? In general, food and activities were less expensive than in Kuala Lumpur. For hotels, you can find decent places to stay for around 15 to 20 US dollars a night, or splurge and stay at one of the many colonial-style hotels that range from $40 to $80 a night. We also saw a few hostels under $10 a night. Let's move on to visas. If you have a passport basically from anywhere in Europe, North or South America, you will not need a visa and you can stay up to 90 days at a time. Finally, what time of year should you visit the Highlands? In an ideal world, between February and April or July and August would be perfect. It's much drier and cooler during this time period, while November to January is the rainy season, which can lead to landslides, road closures, and impossible hiking trails. And that, my friends, is the essential things you need to know before visiting the Cameron Highlands.
The must-see.
This is our required list for anyone visiting the area and only has a day to do it. Tea plantations. Whether you're visiting the Cameron Valley Plantation, which is also known as the Barata Tea Plantation, or the Bo Tea Plantation further north, both of these are must-sees in the region. Visiting on your own gives you the ability to take some of the trails that wind through the tea plantation. Next up, we have hiking trails.
Nature is amazing.
If you only have 1 day to do it, it's going to be a little rough, so visiting the mossy forest is probably your best bet for a hike. The Brinchang Night Market, which is held on Friday and Saturday evenings in the city of Brinchang. We left on a Friday, so we completely missed this, but having been to a handful of night markets in Malaysia, you should not miss this if you're in town. Finally, strawberry picking. Stopping in one of the many different farms gives you a unique experience of cutting your own strawberries right off the stem, and the taste of these fresh strawberries is just jaw-dropping. I don't think I've tasted anything quite like it before. And that is the short list of the must-sees. Now let's figure out how to get to the Highlands. The most likely starting point is either Kuala Lumpur or Georgetown on Penang Island. Both of them give you the same 3 transportation options: a bus, a train, or an airplane toy that's in your luggage on your private shuttle. The bus trips from Kuala Lumpur to the Cameron Highlands takes about 3.5 to 4.5 hours, while from Penang Island it'll put you in the Highlands in about 4 hours. The bus stop is officially in the city of Tanah Rata, so if you're thinking about staying in the other 2 cities, you'll want to grab a taxi or a rideshare. We did witness 2 people asking the driver to be dropped off on the way to Tanah Rata, but you'd probably need to speak the language to request this. We took this bus option when leaving the Highlands to go from Tanah Rata to Penang Island. Next you have a train, but it doesn't directly go to the Highlands. The closest city on the train line would be Ipoh. It has a rich cultural history and a fantastic street art scene, and well worth stopping for a couple days if you have time to check it out. From Ipoh, you can hop on the bus and make it to the Highlands in about 2.5 hours, which is what we did. Finally, the quickest and most expensive is to hire your very own private shuttle. They'll pick you up and drop you off directly at the destination you choose in the Highlands.
The language.
Malay is the official language of the country and spoken by over 80% of the population. With that said, English is widely spoken in the Highlands and throughout Malaysia. When we were in the Highlands, we didn't run into one situation where we were not able to communicate. We find it generally a good idea to learn some phrases and key words beforehand to immerse yourself further into the local culture. After spending more time than I'd like to admit trying to find the best trail for us to hike on, we narrowed it down to just a couple. There are technically 14 different trails available, all just labeled with numbers for your convenience. Most of the trails begin in Tanah Rata, so it might be wise to stay in this town if you're looking to hike. The trails that we took are number 10 and number 6. For trail number 10, it starts more or less behind a house, with no official sign that we noticed, and then raises up quite quickly until you reach a large electric tower that gives you a fantastic overview of the region. But wait, there's more! You can continue up to the peak, which reveals the other side of the mountain where you can almost see the city of Ipoh in the distance.
Nature is amazing.
From here, Trail 10 splits into number 12 and number 6. We took number 6 since it goes through a farmland and a tea plantation. This trail was a little crazy at parts with extremely narrow sections or steep descents. But once you make it out of the jungle and onto the farm road, it only gets better with each step you take. Seeing fresh fruit being grown right by the trail, locals harvesting it, and endless amounts of greenery. You end in the Cameron Valley Tea Plantation, which could not make for a more idyllic, tranquil location for the ending. If you don't end up taking Trail 6, at least spend some time walking through parts of the plantation. It's well worth your time. For all of this, we used the All Trails app to make sure that we were following the correct trail. If we didn't use the app, we could have easily taken a wrong turn and gotten lost a handful of times. What's the saying? Location, location, and with 3 different cities and a few smaller villages that make up the Cameron Highlands, the options may seem overwhelming. The 3 cities are Ringlet, Brinchang, and Tanah Rata. Ringlet is much further south, away from most of the attractions, and is mostly an agricultural hub for fruits and vegetables. So let's just rule that out.
Ruled out.
What remains is Brinchang, Tanah Rata, and the village of Kia Farm. Brinchang is closer to the weekend night market, but it has limited options for food compared to Tanah Rata. Trails 1, 2, and 3 all start in Brinchang, so it might be ideal if you're looking to take those trails. The Kia Farm village is very close to the Bo Tea Plantation, local farmers markets, and a couple other attractions. Last we have Tanah Rata, which is where we ended up staying. The bus depot is located here, as well as many dining options, a mall, the most hotel accommodations, and the start of most of the hiking trails. We'll recommend staying in this town.
Food.
We have gone over the Malaysian food options in our other videos on Kuala Lumpur and Georgetown, which is basically any Malaysian food is
Amazing.
So be sure to check out those if you're interested in more of the Malaysian food. But with that said, you'll for sure want to sample some of the fresh strawberries and scones with jam.
You just got jam.
Good old day trips.
There's a bunch of stuff to do in the area. Some are amazing and some are for sure tourist traps. The key takeaway for us was if you have a family, there is plenty to do to keep the kids occupied. You don't need to rely on a tour group to see everything. You can easily hire a Grab driver and they'll take you from each place you want to visit, and there's usually multiple options for each. So if it's recommended on TripAdvisor to go to this specific strawberry farm, it'll probably be overpriced compared to the other 5 that are exactly the same.
I knew that.
Anywho, let's get into the day trip options. The Bow Tea Plantation as well as the Barata Tea Plantation are both well worth visiting, walking the grounds, and possibly going on a tour. If you're into hiking, you can completely skip the mossy forest, but if not, you can take a stroll through the 200-million-year-old forest on a nice elevated boardwalk. If you're more into trail hiking instead, there are 14 different trails to choose from.
Nature is...
Most of them start in the city of Brinchang or Tanah Rata. You'll also want to make sure you visit during the dry season for the hikes. We visited in February at the very beginning of one of the 2 dry seasons and had many parts of the trail have been impossible to pass if it had rained recently. Strawberry picking is another fun activity where you can spend time picking your own strawberries right from the plant. There are multiple places to pick strawberries, so I would recommend just choosing one on your way or coming from another activity. There's literally no reason to go to the most liked farm unless you enjoy
Tourists.
And this has been the Cameron Highlands City Guide. If you have any questions that we didn't address, please leave them below, and we'll be sure to answer them on our podcast that doesn't exist.